Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Tangent Show. This is episode 25, and it's for July 18th, 2019. We've got Brooks and Greg. We're back for one more week. Man, it's the 25th show. That's a lot. We were just talking about this on the Facebook show. I mean, that's, you know, you're talking, wow. I mean, we're well over 6 months now.
Yeah,
doing this. Yeah. So it's been a little bit, but hey, Baltimore, what's up, man?
How's it going,
dude? We were trying to get Twitch working again, and we're still having the same thing. It drops frames,
drops frames again,
and then we just bounce it right over to YouTube, and it works just fine. So sorry for the folks that are trying to watch on Twitch. That's not working out for us right now, and I think we're gonna go through and tear up the settings, the stream, and all that, and try to figure out if it's connection
maybe
or what
tomorrow
it is.
or Monday, rip it down a little bit and see what we can do.
Yeah, because we'll have one more show next week, and then we'll take another week off because we got some vacations and stuff like that coming up. So we'll be doing this show tonight, one next week, take a week off, and then resume everything back to normal with no issue. But yeah, they are flying by. They just they go by quick.
I figured once we got running, they would. So
yeah,
that's
for
kind
sure.
of my expectation.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much, I don't know, been on autopilot for, I mean, in terms of like, we know the schedule, we know what we want to talk about, we see the list of games, we're going through, we're getting everything ready. It's
we're fortunate enough to be pretty flexible too.
Yeah, everything here works well. Yeah, vacation sounds good. It'll be the first one quite a while. I mean, it's last year didn't do anything. This year doing a little bit of LA, going down to Malibu.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
And then going to Universal, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, it'll be nice to get away. Although I like it up here. We're getting like great weather. It's like 70 degrees.
Right.
And the rest of the country is sweltering at like 90 to 100.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about where you're at, Baltimore. Like Minnesota's doing that, but it's pretty nice out here on the coast. It's not bad today. So we've got a couple of things, but obviously we're going to do some games. You've been enjoying the show. I appreciate it, man. Dude, we appreciate you being here and helping us mod and doing all that work for us. It's always fun.
Got a question.
Oh, yeah, Brooks has one.
Got a question. Are you actually from Baltimore?
He's been burning up there. Yeah, we had a conversation. I thought you'd told me one time you grew up in Baltimore and then you'd moved to Minnesota. I could be wrong. We were talking about this.
We were chatting about this because we saw the follows.
Where were we? We were talking about this on PSN, like on like Saturday or Sunday.
This came up because I got my new phone, which then all the Twitters, because like when you follow stuff and
he was
and
work. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay,
because it came up because I had my phone and it was like it shows like what you follow and what WildTangent follows and what I follows, and it was like, here's. I won't use his name, but it shows his name, and then I was like, and I asked you, and I was like, is he actually from there?
Yeah,
right?
We were having a conversation. Brooks just got onto the iPhone train after a decade of being on Android. Oh no, not that long.
I know I had like a 3, and then I had that Nexus 1.
Yeah.
And then since then it's been some of that
all the Google
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were talking about this on PlayStation on Sunday night. I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. And your name came up, and we were like wondering if... And I was like, I've talked to him. I know that he was from Baltimore. He had told me that, and then moved out that way.
This came up because I pulled up my Twitter, and you had followed him on the work chat. That was exactly how this came up.
That's how it came up.
Or the work account.
Work account, yep.
So...
You've got to make the switch to iPhone. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I've had them all. I mean, obviously, we came from the mobile industry, so... but yeah, we've got a couple. So tonight we'll run down through kind of the stuff. We'll jump into the news here in a minute, but we are going to do some Kona, which is a detective-ish type walking simulator. We're going to do some Night Call, which is another kind of brand new game this week.
It's kind of an investigator simulator, I think is kind of how they...
narrative detective game, kind of thing. We're going to do Alien Breed Impact, which is top-down, shooter. I don't know. Right. It's not really... I mean, I guess it is an actual, like, twin stick. Then we're going to do some Crouching Pony, Hidden Dragon. Interesting story on that one. And then we're going to do Pony Island. And tonight we're going to play Moonlighter, which, if anybody's checked that out, it's a very cool kind of, if Link to the Past met an indie developer that was about like a tycoon game. That's kind of where it is. It's kind of interesting. So those are the things we're going to play. We're going to get into some news. But if you haven't yet, definitely subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live next time. If you weren't notified today, if you're new joining us, thank you for stopping in. And let's jump into the stuff. So, news. So, in news, we were talking about a couple of things today. We were talking about brand new games. And one brand new game, iPhone specifically, we were talking about, is from That Game Company. So, if you know That Game Company, those cats have done the Journey and Flower and what else am I thinking of? They went through a couple, all mostly PlayStation hits kind of thing. They were like the big PlayStation indie devs almost, it seemed.
Yeah, they've got that. Yep. They've got that style to it. Because what was their original game? It was called Flow.
Flow.
Yeah.
Yep. Was Flow the original one? Yeah, I guess it was.
And they did that for Sony.
Yep. And then they did Flower, and then they did Journey.
Yes.
And now their new game is an iOS game, funny enough. And it looks just like Journey. Well, similar to Journey. It's called Sky.
It's got a similar art style.
Yeah, and it just came out today, so it's something brand new. It's only on iOS as far as I'm aware right now. But the game does have some connectivity. It definitely searches out friends that are playing the game. It'll get you... ultimately, it seems like it's Journey.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
In the same way of, like, if you've never played Journey, Journey's kind of a unique... It's a short game, maybe only about 2 hours long. And it's really a journey, so you just kind of play through it. There's nothing really to kill you. And you're just kind of playing through the game, and you interact with people, and you don't talk to people, and you don't know who they are, but you're like working together to solve some stuff. So I'm expecting a very similar thing to Sky. It almost has, like, in the background, the clouds go up into a mountain, so it's almost like Journey.
It's meant to... Their past games have been these they're games, but they're kind of these, like... when I say experience, I don't mean to compare it to VR, but it's sort of...
They are, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like something in a package.
It's something of a game, but then it's also kind of like you've got the music and the sound and the visuals, and it's all kind of meant to be crafted in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like shoot to score points or something. I mean, I'm not trying to be basic about it.
No, in that idea. We'll put the link in the chat in. If you have an iPhone, you can check it out. It took me a minute to find it because it came out early and then... It wasn't really on the front page, and then it hit the front page right away.
Mac and iPhone is what it's for right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. It's definitely something they were doing specifically with. It looked like with. I don't think it's one of the games that is exclusive.
This has nothing to do with
Apple
arcade.
Is paid into. No, I don't believe so. But it was just kind of interesting that that it's only on there. But I mean, I can tend to see like why that is sometimes. So I think I found the link here. We'll drop that in. Yep, I found it. Sky Light Awaits is the game. So I'm going to drop it in. You can make friends. You can discover. It's got some cool stuff. Where's my YouTube channel? Journey was really good, Baltimore. You're right, man. So that's it. If anybody's interested in that, that's the link to the game. But where's our next?
It is coming, for anybody wondering, it is coming to Android, PC, and consoles.
Oh, yeah. I kind of figured like it would be on Android shortly. It's just probably development.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be able to get it on there.
I guess they did something interesting, it looks like. At some point, they announced that when you bought this, they had some like huge like 50-pack bundle. Where it looks like you could buy a bunch of these. I'm not sure the specifics on this.
A 50-pack?
Yeah, they call it the 50 bundle.
Of what?
I'm not sure.
Of free games?
I'm not sure.
Good lord.
Yeah.
So this is just a new game we thought we'd talk about. Another new game coming out for any Nintendo fans, just in time for Halloween, or exactly on Halloween, is going to be Luigi's Mansion 3, which everybody's kind of looking for. I've been excited about that.
I've been stoked about this since there was rumors of this even being a thing.
Yeah, so I remember playing Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. I know you did that.
Launch morning, yeah.
That was the launch title for the GameCube. Which kind of some people were questioning, like, was that a good idea? But ultimately, I think it was because it's a really good game. The 3DS version, yeah, exactly. The 3DS version was really good too.
So I know you played never that. Played. I haven't played 2. Yeah.
It's really good. I think it does a great job of bringing the same experience onto the portable, and the 3D in it was pretty decent. Like, it wasn't really crappy. It was a good job that they did on it. Oh yeah, the first game, Baltimore, was spot on, and there are some differences. I was telling Brooks about that, like where Luigi's Mansion for GameCube was kind of a full experience of like, well, it was almost an open world, open house kind of thing experience. Like, it didn't really go into missions or anything like that. You just played through the mansion as you opened doors and found pieces. In 3DS version, it was more of a mission-based kind of scenario, like you had like mission 1 through 4 or 5,
right? And
then you would go to something else and so forth. 3DS has I don't know. I don't think I ever played it in multiplayer. I don't know, Baltimore. It may. I'd have to look it up.
Well, I know that they also then, after that, because it was called Dark Moon, the second one, they turned around and they took the first one and made it again.
And that was made for
DS as well.
3DS, yeah, sorry. It came out right maybe last year?
It's relatively new.
Yeah. So then that was the first one remade.
Yes.
And then they have Luigi's Mansion 3.
Which is kind of the first full HD.
Yes. Yeah. Some new things in it, some new ghosts. Gooigi is in it.
They have ways that you can sort of manipulate your character this time around.
Yeah. So lots of cool Luigi stuff. I like it. I think it's good.
I'm a pre-order on this. Yeah. Absolutely.
I've heard some people saying, well, do you really want to have it come out on Halloween? Wouldn't it have been better to launch the beginning of it? I'm like, it's fine. It'll do great regardless.
I mean, I guess they also have to sort of figure out how to, like, because if they release it much later than that, you're going to bump into, like, Pokemon plus the Switch Lite bundle.
For sure, yeah.
So let's capitalize sometime in October, give or take a couple weeks. I'm not that
I think, about it. You know what? Luigi's Mansion is not necessarily meant to be, like, scary, so.
Right.
It's just kind of throw it out there on Halloween.
I've been low-key really looking forward to this game. I was hoping that this was actually going to come out this year, because a couple weeks ago they had a comment where I want to say perhaps it was Doug Bowser. I could be misquoting who this was exactly.
Yeah.
They were talking with the developer, and they were like, well, they haven't kind of really told us when they think it's going to be done, and we want to give them the time, and we don't want to get into crunch, and we don't want to rush them because we want it to be a good game. So I was sitting there, and I was like, oh, please be this year. So that
get it out there at some point, yeah. Don't make it a 2020 game.
Yeah, it's a little close to Kojima's game, so this is going to be a hot play real quick. I figure I've probably got about 5 days on this one, but...
Yeah, I'm kind of staring at something. Well, I'm not really worried about Kojima's next game coming out. I'll play it at some point.
Oh, sure.
But I'm thinking Code Vein is like maybe a week before Luigi's... No, maybe a couple weeks before.
Okay, that's right. We talked about this because it's like late September, early October.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Borderlands is out in a similar window a couple weeks before that. Yep. So it's, gosh.
It is a good time it is a fun time to release the game. I think it'll do well. It's matched up with it. You wouldn't launch this game around Christmas, and you wouldn't launch it around like Easter, right? So, I mean, Halloween sounds the best to me. Spooky ghosts.
Yeah, and
Shadowkeep, that's going to release too. Jeez, everything's going to be releasing.
Which one?
Shadowkeep. There's just tons of games coming out for sure. That's Destiny 2, right? I mean, that's that new thing that they're doing with the moon and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was sitting here and I was going through the Rolodex.
Baltimore
okay. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Monhun, Iceborne. We'll just keep stacking them up.
Oh, dude. Yeah, of course. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, another Nintendo character. Pikachu has become the most, what would you say, the highest box office video game character movie.
Yeah, I saw like
in history.
436 million at this point, I think.
Is that what it is globally?
Yeah, which is more than Tomb Raider.
It's like 143 million here, I think.
Yeah, so I think that must be collective.
Yeah, 143 million, like 10 million above Tomb Raider or Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Okay.
And then 10 million, and that was 10 million above. What did we say? What was the other game?
RE.
No, it wasn't Resident Evil. It was the Angry Birds.
Oh,
which is kind of funny. I didn't think of Angry Birds. I never thought of as a video game, but it is a game. So, and I know it's funny, and we actually our ex co-worker worked on that project with them.
Yeah,
to get that out.
Gentleman over at Real W. Remind me. What's his
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm. Thank you.
Yeah, he was over there. He enjoyed that, so he liked that movie, and it did really well for what they invested in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he did all right. So yeah, no, Pikachu is now the leader of the box office.
I'm not surprised.
It's almost like being Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. That kind of fame.
I'm not surprised. I haven't seen this movie. I know people that have.
And lest we forget, Ryan Reynolds was the Green Hornet. That movie sucked.
Yeah, I mean, he's
he even makes fun of it.
He knows how to make fun of himself.
Or Green Lantern, not Green Hornet, Green Lantern. Green Hornet was with
Green Lantern. Oh my gosh.
Oh, what's it? Seth whatever. Green Hornet was a different one. Green Lantern is what Ryan Reynolds played.
Seth Rogen was Green.
Seth
Hornet.
Rogen was Green Hornet. Yes, and that movie it was okay. But no, Green Lantern sucked. But yeah, no, Pikachu, he did all right with this one. He's a really funny character.
I know a few people that have seen this and thought it was a pretty decent movie. I mean, considering I think when everybody heard I remember the initial reaction was when we had the trailer and he opens his mouth and he's speaking English.
Yes.
Perfect English, right?
Yeah, and everybody's like, what?
He talked? Okay, right.
There was a funny article that somebody was already jumping on board with this, and we were laughing about prior to coming online, and it was somebody already saying they've got the superhero franchise plan for Pokemon already drawn out. It was Detective Pikachu in 2019. It was in 2022 DEA agent Psyduck. 2024 is Stuntman Squirtle. 2026 is commercial pilot Jigglypuff. 2027 is Barista Snorlax.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's 2 launching in 2028, which are Summer for Actuary Mew and Winter for Actuary Mewtwo, and it's all accumulating into a 2030 Pokemon workforce.
Okay.
Which I thought was funny that somebody was pulling it together.
I have no doubt in my mind, and this is, pure speculation.
Yeah, that's true.
That before this movie even came out, there were sequels on the wall, right? On the drawing board.
Of course. I thought I had made you moderator. There you go, Baltimore. I thought you were on both. Sorry, that was my fault. But yeah, no, Detective Pikachu doing all right for.
Yeah, I want to say our coworker Robert saw this, and I think he was pretty into it.
Yeah, I could see. Robert's a Nintendo fan, so that makes sense. Let's jump over. So, obviously, bigger than Pikachu is the Area 51 raid going on.
Which has Pokemon Go players there right now.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what led us into that one. So there are Pokemon players that are going to get the crap beat out of them by the military in short order for the raid Area 51, which is kind of funny in a way. I know it's a little bit of a joke, but we found another article, not necessarily containing the information on the Pokemon Go people, but we actually ran into somebody doing a top 15 game list of games that allow you to raid Area 51.
Right.
How many of these do you know? How many games do you know of an Area 51 where you get to raid?
Okay, so that you're inside of it, right? So let me think here. You've got multiple variations of the arcade game, so I'll give those 2 or 3.
Okay, you're thinking the Aerosmith Area 51. Wasn't that it? Wasn't it?
No, I'm thinking of the light gun games.
I thought that was Aerosmith. No, that was a different
No.
thing. Yeah,
You're shooting aliens.
Area 51. Okay.
So let me think. what else takes place at Area 51?
So you got one of them.
Okay.
That was 1995. Area 50.
So then
51.
Perfect Dark is based on it, but doesn't take place there, but does take place somewhere kind of around there. But so we'll say no on that one.
Okay.
What else is going to take place at Area 51?
Some of these are a little bit obscure.
There could be some there could be some crappy X-Files games that could touch Area 51. I could very easily
Nothing X-Files.
Nothing X-Files. Okay.
I can tell you got 3 of them. We need to start counting down here. I'm going to start counting down some.
Okay.
So, Vigilante 8.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Took place there. That was number 15.
That's right.
14 is Tomb Raider 3 Adventures of Lara Croft.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Rampage 2 Universal Tour, which I think that's an arcade, isn't it?
I wouldn't have guessed that, but yes, Rampage 1 and 2 were arcade before they made the crappy 64 ports or something.
Perfect Dark was number 12, so you picked that one.
It was there.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
11 was Hydro Thunder Hurricane. Racing game.
I wouldn't have thrown that.
You wouldn't have thought that one together. Number 10, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Allowed you.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. That's
Baltimore
right.
got that one.
Okay.
Duke Nukem 3D was number 9.
I wouldn't have pulled that.
Yeah, he was always doing something with aliens.
Number
8, Deus Ex. The original Deus Ex.
Oh, God.
Yep. Number 7, Destroy All Humans. You ever play that one? That's THQ.
Yeah, I did. I didn't correlate that to Area 51 for some reason.
Yeah, in Destroy All Humans, you got to go there and raid. I think it was the aliens doing that kind of thing. Hydro Thunder was a great arcade game, no doubt.
Not the best mobile game.
Not the best mobile game.
Great arcade game.
Yes. Actually, it was pretty... Wasn't it on Dreamcast as well? They took the arcade, so it was actually pretty good on there. Number 6 was DC Universe Online. I never played a lot of MMOs there. Yeah, that one's kind of obscure. Call of Duty Black Ops. Black Site Area 51. Area 51, the arcade. Area 51, 1995 arcade.
Okay, so there was 2 of those. Okay, I thought there was 3.
Yep, 2. And then the number 1 was Alien Hominid from Behemoth.
Okay.
If you remember that.
Okay.
Remember that? That was a... Alien Hominid was a Flash game.
Well, it was
Didn't it start out there?
It was a Flash game, and then it very quickly blew up because it bridged that time right when Xbox Live Arcade launched.
Yep, which dropped over there, too.
Those guys kind of blew up there, which then turned into Castle Crashers fame.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Castle Crashers is an awesome game. That works well with my 4-player arcade.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can actually map everything to it. It works great.
Right.
Yeah, no, the list was pretty good. They are making... Yes, Baltimore, you're right. They're remaking Destroy All Humans. Miguel's excited about that for some reason. He knew about that game. I was like, that's kind of an obscure game.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd know. You know, not being like the biggest gaming fan, why that one would be the one you knew. He must have had a story with it.
He saw it when he was...
He knew it at E3 because he saw it there.
Yes, yeah.
But I think he has some connection to it or something like that. He knew it or remembered it from back in the day or something. I don't know, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. So, yeah, that's it. Area 51, all the big celebrities. I even heard Keanu Reeves was going to make a rush on this place.
Okay.
But he's also obviously in 2077.
Right.
And if you've been following Cyberpunk 2077, you might have seen that they are going to make a hardcore mode where there is no UI in the game at all.
Okay.
That seems like extremely difficult.
I've seen...
Especially if you've got to manage anything.
Last of Us does this, and it's vicious to play like this.
Yeah, it's a tougher one. No. Dead Space only had limited UI. Because it was all built into your back and all that. It had nothing to do with like stripping the UI away.
This is the spirit.
This is actually like wiping it completely away.
The spirit of this is really about like reading emotion and reading the environment and not having visual cues of exclamation point, now they're pissed or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you'll never know, so you just have to deal with like the outcome kind of thing. But I thought that was pretty good, and I'm really looking forward to 2077. I think this is kind of the big game for me in 2020, for sure.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm
it's almost a game of the year, you could probably call it right now.
Unless Last of Us 2 comes with some rabbit out of the hat, right? Yeah, I mean, that's
it's game of the year. I don't care what Last of Us 2 does.
Okay, well,
it's an overhyped game.
Okay. We won't get into my opinion of Witcher 3, right? So.
That's a good point. No, I think 2077 is going to be awesome. I like the idea.
You and I share the same opinion.
Yes,
of this
on this
game.
one. This one we're good on.
And I especially, I think we talked about this, so we won't on the E3 one. I love that they kept this quiet.
How much they've kept quiet of it is pretty
especially
impressive.
Considering after the fact that his involvement is not bit player in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a more significant role.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
I'm in.
Yeah, no, I think this one will do really well. I think it's going to be a big hit, and I think that, kind of supporting the more hardcore gamers, they're not making a mistake with that, like adding in this hardcore mode and, really kind of setting it up for success.
I don't know that I would play that way the first time through.
I think it would be a super big challenge.
That'd be tough.
But as you've seen with The Witcher, some of these games, it's hard to go. I mean, it's not hard, but it's a lot of commitment to go back through and play the game a second time.
I knew someone that restarted the game twice. Our buddy, not John M, but John Dub.
Oh, really?
He played it. He restarted the game multiple times because he kept getting hung up on something in the story, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not weird. It's not going down like that."
He wanted it to be a specific way.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I mean,
So-
kind of trying to.
Oh, he spent 50 hours before the first quarter of the game.
Yeah, that's
or something.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red is legit Baltimore. I gotta admit, they do some fine work over there in Poland.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I'm really excited.
And then the last thing we were going to talk about is alien related, and
You know
it's
more about this than I.
So if you follow retro games and the ridiculousness of collecting retro games, and it's not ridiculous, I say that in jest. I collect. I have a decent PS3,
good
PS2, Xbox. I don't really go for cartridge-based stuff. Mm-hmm. Just kind of older anymore, and I like it. I was a big Atari fan. I played games for 40 years now. Atari was the first system I ever actually played at like the age of 4, and I never heard of this game. But I do know there are certain games out there that are prototypes that bring like big money to the table. And they're prototypes in the sense of they never made it out. They might have been in a cartridge, but they never actually hit the market. Mm-hmm. So people were taking these, and there is a whole entire community based around ROM dumping. And like salvaging these games and making sure that they're available and cataloged and available to people to download. Mm-hmm. And there are these private auctions that go on, and not necessarily always private auctions. They can be on eBay. And people will essentially sell these, and collectors will buy them. And the thought process around it is that, well, I will own it. I'm not going to dump the ROM onto the internet, so nobody else can play it, but I'll have it, and it'll be safe. And they just want to be the only person that can play it, I guess.
The only other time I've heard of this before is when Chick-Relly bought the Wu-Tang CD.
Very similar to that, right? So, yeah, we all watch Metal Jesus, John Hancock,
right? Yeah.
Reggie. There's NES Pat, the NES Punk. There's Angry Video Game Nerd. There's lots of these guys. Mad Little Pixel. There's tons of people that love retro games. They all know kind of all this story, and they talk about this all the time. But within this game went up for auction today for around $90,000.
So is this a prototype game?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Got it. Okay.
But $90,000 was enough to like raise questions on. I don't see it not being a prototype game.
So here's the question I have: Is somebody okay? So I could see somebody bidding. It's one thing to bid. It's another thing. Is somebody gonna drop 90 G's on this? Like, truly?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that there's always the test the water, but there have been games sold at high dollar amounts.
Which we've talked about, yeah.
But less than the actual auction.
Okay.
Is asking.
Right.
90,000. I mean, man, that's a lot. Here it's talking about it. I'm trying to see if they say if it is a prototype. It's the most expensive game ever put up for auction. That's an Atari game.
Okay, I believe that.
I'm not seeing it saying prototype, but boy, I'd be really surprised if it was a physical sold game without a box, and it says it's just emerged from obscurity.
Strange, huh?
E.T.'s known. Yeah, they talk about E.T. in here. That's about all they talk about. So this game really has not a lot of knowledge on it. That's so funny. For Atari, VCS, and Sears. Because Sears made their own machines.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I was trying to see if this is world's rarest game. Long lost video game. And see, that makes me think like it could not be an actually sold game because there would be versions of it somewhere. Somebody would have dumped the ROM before this. It doesn't really, let's see, it was made in 1984. Skill Screen Games. Production was delayed due to technical issues and the team lost the opportunity to make sales for Christmas. After finally finishing the game in 84, the video game crash hit, in which consumers, basically the video game crash, if nobody knows that, essentially there were so many crappy games out, nobody was buying the damn things anymore.
Right.
There were so many flooding the market that you could find these in bins at like Sears and all these and like Family Dollar and things like that for $1 a piece.
So there was 100 produced originally.
Okay, there we go.
Then from there, a museum had one. They tracked down the original guys that built it. I mean, they sold this game door to door.
Yeah.
Then
that makes sense.
Then somebody got their paws on one, cracked it open, dumped it online, and then made a special edition limited run of another set of 100.
Gotcha.
So it looks
so
like...
this is from the original set.
Yeah.
This one. That's crazy. The amount of money.
The Racket Boy, a retro gaming expert that I'm not familiar with, estimates the true value of this between $7,000 and $15,000.
That sounds more like reality.
Yeah, so that says, I guess the rarest game that's been sold, the rarest Atari game, Air Raid, was sold for $33,000 cash in 2012.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that's a ton of money. A lot of info on here. Oh, where you found it on Ars Technica.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
That's what I'm reading.
Yeah, no, it's seems like a little bit too much to pay for it. I mean, there's a couple arcade machines that are out there that are like, there's only 3 available in the world. There was a whole conspiracy. We talked about that on the stream, I think, where it was like the person did the whole like MI6, snuck in as like a repair technician and dumped the ROM onto their machine from the arcade machine.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of this. But the game's already been dumped, so what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully when they go raid Area 51, they find something cool.
Yeah, hopefully they get extraterrestrials. Okay, let's jump into the next section that we're going to do. So let's jump into some games.
Let's start with Night Call the Night.
Yeah, we're going to jump, because of everything we're talking about. Well, actually, we're going to start with Kona, because we're going to do some detectiving.
Okay.
Detecting. I don't know how we're going to say it, but we were talking about Detective Pikachu. Kona brings you into a game where it's a walking simulator style game, and we've talked about this. We've got the game on the service. We've talked about what is Kona and how it plays, and it's basically like a narrative detective walking simulator. It's got a lot of that in it. You're in a blinding snowstorm. You are going to see your employer who's hired you to go look into some stuff. It actually starts you off as you're driving in. You wreck. You have to heal yourself. So it's kind of the tutorial teaching you, kind of like, you need heals. You need to be around fire. It's in some ways very similar. It looks very similar to like the Long Dark, but it's nothing like the Long Dark. Long Dark is survival. This is more of like, as long as you don't screw up too bad, you're going to survive.
So this takes place in like 70s northern Canada?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which Long Dark takes place later, but in northern Canada as well.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. So lots Canadian love for the snow. And you play this game. This also has a VR option that you can buy into.
Yeah.
And the VR option, it's a pretty intricate VR game when you look at it, because when you consider it's not Fallout 4 VR, but for the price points, it's very reasonable as a VR game, because I picked it up on PS4, and for PS4 VR.
That was originally how I had heard about it. Yeah.
But it is available because we have the game available through Steam on Steam Key. You can get an option if you have a VR headset to be able to play it in VR as well if you own the base game. So it's a very interesting game. You get through, you get to kind of see what's going on. It has crafting in it. It has a little bit of healing stuff, a little bit of survival. Very light on those components. But then you also have, you're in the search of different things, right? You always have clues that you're looking at. You always get information. You have a camera you're taking pictures with. I don't want to really like ruin the story.
Sure, yeah.
But
I'm trying to
you will see in the video here, like you kind of get to see what's going on. There's some death. You've got to figure out what's happened, how you can fix it. I don't know. There's not really a driving component to it. There's the point where you're in the car and going from point to point that you can actually steer a little bit and go some ways. So it is a little bit more than just a linear walking simulator. You could stop somewhere else and go somewhere. So it's not like you're stuck on the same path, but it's got some interesting ideas.
You ultimately play as an investigator in the game, and I'm trying to be very careful about the story, but that is, needless to say, there is some investigating to do. There is. You get a little bit, and you can kind of go through. You're obviously on the track of what happened in the town. It's a little town, like it's a small town. It's really hard to say is it actually even a town, because there's like one. It's like Index. There's like one gas station, and that's all you got. We don't even have a gas station, but it's similar to that idea, right?
In that sense. And like I said, I played it on both the VR and the standard. It played well in both cases. Not a bad experience at all. There's definitely a difference, though. It's interesting to play this game in VR when you're looking at it at the standard game, at the base game, the regular 2D version, I guess you call it. It's not 2D, but you know what I mean, like the standard version without VR. You're looking at it on a 4K screen. Looks pretty good. You're looking in VR, it's definitely different textures, and it's the same game, same look, but you can just tell the difference in the quality of the textures, because VR is lower resolution.
Right. I'm trying to think. I can't, off the top of my head, I don't think I've played a VR game where you're kind of whitewashed in snow like this.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a unique experience.
And then you've kind of got the like, it's quiet, but like
Carl had no trouble.
Stuff's going on around you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure. Now you do get a chance to see a little bit more of it open up. It's reminiscent of.
A detective could have noticed that the killer,
like I said, in one instance I was like, "Oh, this is like Firewatch," in another instance you're like, "No, it's more like Call of Cthulhu from Bethesda," right? In that sense. There's not that it's the horror component, but kind of in the way you're doing an investigation. Right? You're looking through clues. The environments in buildings kind of seem the same. So I was like, oh, okay, I get this. It's very similar.
An explosion suddenly occurred.
And then you get, there's obviously notes you can find. There's interaction. Like I said, there's some things where you're using different tools to be able to open up this, to be able to get to this part or a new piece.
The notes talk about what happened in the past?
They talk about what's going on in the near present. So a little bit in the past, but more like right around now. So it's basically clues of like how that guy died. That guy on the ground was your employer, who hired you as the detective to kind of come in and check. You also have a narrative. We can't hear it right now, but the folks watching can, where you can actually hear him talking, and he's narrating what's going on, kind of thing. So it is the 70s style, definitely. Fixing the death is going to be a little tough, Baltimore, for sure. And there is a discount. Yes, you're right. There is a discount. If you look at Kona on there, I think, what do we have that at? I think it's $19.99 for the normal, and it's $14.99 for Wild. I think that's what it is if you're a Wild member. And it's a Steam key, so you activate it on Steam and get a chance to keep it in that collection that you may have over there. Lots of people have Steam as a catalog of games to play. So, Kona, like I said, totally different design in the walking simulator. I don't even want to consider it that. It's not that. I'm sure if you look it up over there, it's probably going to have that in the name, or in the tags. See, well, no, it's actually adventure survival, detective. Yeah.
To me, this seems like mystery adventure. That's kind of, I guess, where I was.
Yeah, that's mainly where
I had to
it is.
plan a stake in it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So, on to another game similar to what we just saw, which is a detective. This is a new game that just came out this week. It's from Plug-in Digital, Night Call.
I think this comes out of, what is it, Raw Fury, I believe?
Yeah, Raw Fury. Sorry, Raw Fury is the publisher. We get it through our partner, Plug-in Digital. That's how that works. And it just released this week on Steam. We've got the Steam key as well, and you can pick it up here. It's kind of a noir narrative detective game. It's got a lot of story to it. It's got a lot of here, we'll throw it on. It's got a lot of lead up and build up. So basically you're in Paris.
Yep.
You're a taxi driver, and there's a serial killer on the loose. And it's done very much like a movie. And when you're watching some of the scenes and cutscenes and things like that, you definitely feel the movie theme to it, right? So it was interesting. I played it last night while we were chatting on the phone. I was playing this game and kind of getting into it. I could kind of see like, okay, here's where things are going. Understanding this, it almost felt like a simulator in a way, in terms of like the taxi component and the detective component.
The developer calls it an investigation simulation. I guess that's how they want to qualify it. So that
I could see where they're saying like, oh, it feels like a simulation. It's almost like a visual novel in other aspects of it. That's where I'm saying it's like heavy narrative story components. So there's just a little bit. There's enough difference here to not like tag it as one or the other, kind of thing. And essentially, you're in a coma when you start out. The doctor, it's basically like you can see.
I was about to ask if the video was paused.
No, the video is not paused. It was actually like in the background. You can hear the doctor trying to talk to you. There's an interesting component to it where you can keep clicking through it, one after another, or you can hit it like you can press down on the mouse wheel, and it puts it into auto mode, where it will automatically kind of roll through the story.
Okay.
Except to the points where you have to make some kind of decision.
All right.
When you're at the decision, it pauses, you click what you want to do, and then it continues on, and it's kind of going through that visual novel component. But then you get a little bit further in, and then it becomes more like a simulator. And I didn't want to show like the detective simulation component of it, because that's kind of a unique thing, and it's really like you're drawing or there's lines drawn, and you have to determine like the connection between these people. And I don't want to give away like who the people are and suspects.
We always try to be careful when we bump into like at what point do you give too much of the story away?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we don't want to like take away the surprise,
especially
you're playing
in something like this when the story is such a crucial element.
Yes, it's definitely a heavy element of the game.
Right.
But it like I said, there's these branching path components. You can choose to like go, and you might have 6 people you can go pick up on the taxi. But then who you decide opens up very unique things for you in the path of the story. I could see it being something you'd play through more than once to kind of
most certainly. Yeah.
So replay value is there. I think maybe the visual novel component or the narrative component could scare some people off, but I don't think it's as big of a deal. I think it's like you see a lot of it here when you're waking up and kind of moving. But once you get through this part, it's not really, it doesn't really play as much of a part.
Okay.
It's more like these are the way they tell you the story.
Right.
Right? There's actually like when you're talking to a fare or somebody you picked up in the cab and you're having a conversation with them, you're watching them move, you're kind of seeing what they're doing, you're making choices, you choose to how you interact with them, and then, the story breaks off based upon what you've done or how you've interacted. It's got some interesting stuff. So essentially how the story begins is you're a taxi driver, you were attacked by a serial killer called the Judge.
Okay.
The Judge has killed everybody he's tried to go after. So you're the only person to survive. You were shot in the side and they thought you were going to lose your liver and die.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you survived. You were put in an induced coma. And now you're kind of out of that, and you go back to work, and your boss really likes you. So here it shows you in the taxi kind of beginning of the taxi storyline where you're interacting with the boss. The boss is telling you kind of the tutorial. It's not very heavy difficulty, right? There's not a lot of changes. Yeah, I am the judge. What was that? Judge Dredd? Did he say I am the law?
I'm not sure. I only know Judge Dredd as like
the Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Sly Stallone, I think, was Judge Dredd.
Yes, it's Stallone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone. Yes. So in that, wasn't he like judge, jury, and executioner?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something. Here, so you're off on it. You pick up a fare. I chose to pick up the cat.
Okay.
The cat actually is like, yeah, I'm looking to go somewhere. So the
cool.
cat's telling
places to be.
He's not talking to you.
I got places to be.
Yeah, but you can see it's very dark. You have to look a little close. You see the cat sitting in the back, and the cat just like moves his head up and down when you're close to the question or the answer. So you're interacting with the cat. You can tell him to get away, or you can take him to where he's going. And this is kind of shows you like how the detective work starts.
Right.
Right. And then once you get a little further in the game, you're working with the law, and there's a whole story around that. And then you get like this board where you've got victims, and you've got to like draw. Well, it kind of draws things to them, but then you got to see the connection of all their stories of why you're trying to figure out who the murderer is, how they were murdered, and you're involved in this.
Okay.
So it gets deeper as you go into the game. So interesting. I'm not sure how many people enjoy this type of detective style game, but it definitely falls into that same, like you're looking for clues, you're hunting down, you're making the calls. It's almost like a Professor Latham kind of style.
Oh, I love the style of the game. It's just nor something that's not. I mean, the games are kind of few and far between. It's sort of a. I don't want to be like the audience of it as small. That's not what I mean at all. But it's kind of it's not as inviting.
Yeah.
How about that? Right.
Yeah.
It tends to be incredibly dark in nature.
Yeah.
Right.
There definitely is some dark components to the storyline. Yeah, a lot of pressure on the cab driver driving a cat around.
I guess what I always appreciate about that genre is that it's one of these things where all the characters. I don't mean that. I hate to make this pun, but. All the characters, it's not really like a black or white thing necessarily.
Right.
Everybody operates in this shade of gray or whatever you want to
Yep.
call it, and you're not really certain of you meet these characters and you're unsure of their motives, and
There's kind of an undertone of current events in this game, especially around like around, I don't want to say racism,
okay,
terrorism, so to speak.
okay,
A
sure,
little bit of both kind of
Sure.
combined, right? So it's definitely touching on some other factors outside of like a story. It's kind of pulling from real world storylines.
Interesting. This is a very, very brief tangent. There was an HBO show, a mini series I watched about a year ago. It was called The Night Of, that had the same thing, that was based around a tragedy
Okay.
and a taxi driver, and then each episode it unfolds, and then there's, you've got like a little bit of the politics and a little bit of the police and a little
Yep.
bit of the money, and
Yep.
I'm sitting here looking at the style, and I'm even looking at the main character, and I'm like,
Maybe there was something
So-
led to it. So let's see. We'll jump out of there. I will drop the link, or Baltimore already dropped the links. Thanks,
cool,
man.
thank you.
He's already got that out there. The Wolf Among Us. Yeah, I guess that would be a very similar game.
Okay, yeah.
Similar style.
Yeah, definitely.
This doesn't have as many. This has, I think, a little bit more branching path
Okay.
to it in terms of who you choose to pick up and how you interact with your cab fares and things like that. Not so much the rich. Well, they're both rich stories. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's very similar, right? I'm not gonna argue that fact.
Yep.
It's very similar.
Definitely.
So the next game we've got, I think we're going to do Alien Breed. Alien Breed Impact. Older game from our friends over at Team 17.
Yeah, we did the legwork on this. It seems, unless I'm going to be corrected wrong on this by someone watching, it seems like this was an early Team 17 game.
Yes.
And I'm not this one in particular, but I mean, this franchise has been with
It's
Team
an earlier
17
game, yes.
for a very long time.
Yeah, they've had it out there for a while, but yeah, this is one of their more earlier PC games. And this is actually this is a top-down shooter that they've had for quite some time. It's got some survival horror components
Right.
into it, tactical weapons and different upgrades you can do. You're stuck on a space station. There is a two-player combat mode that I think you can play co-op as well.
Okay.
So it's got a little bit more. There's also a Alien Breed 2 and 3. We've got all of them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But Alien Breed 1, I thought, well, we'll take a look at that. We were looking at, over the past couple shows, we played like a top-down shooter
Right.
or like an isometric shooter for each show. So I thought, well, you know what? We've never actually talked about Alien Breed, and it's a fun game. Overall, you can kind of go through. It's not heavy on the enemies,
Right.
so to speak. It's more like you're working your way through, kind of almost. They're trying to make it that survival.
A little
horror.
tactical.
Yeah,
little
exactly.
survival in there, sure, yeah.
So it's a nice alien sci-fi game. I think it's $9.99.
Yeah, I
That's what we have
did
it
a
at.
small amount of legwork. It looks like the absolute original version of Alien Breed was on the Amiga.
Yep.
Yeah, so I can't name a lot of franchises that a developer has taken from
It's kept it around that long.
what is that, like early 80s to like now, to like roughly now? That's decades.
I want to say at least mid to late 80s.
Okay, yeah.
And then, because if you look at the Amiga 32 was like 95
Yes.
or something like
Yeah,
that. So
uh-huh.
I'd probably say like somewhere in the late 80s is when it actually launched.
Systems offline.
Yeah, you were close. 94. April 29th, 94.
Was what, for the Amiga 32?
For the CD32.
Yeah. That was only in Canada.
Oof.
It never came to the U.S.
Well, there you go.
They owed $10 million on patent that they never paid. Yeah, the trilogy is in there, and then we have the individual games, so forth as well. But Yeah, no, it's can't believe you've never heard of it. It's actually pretty good. They've actually Team 17 does a good job of getting these games on sale. So there's definitely sale prices that can be had. I think ours, like I said, ours is $9.99.
Power source detected.
No, $19.99 with a Wild member discount. $22.49 for the trilogy.
Systems offline.
But I thought we have Alien Breed Impact as a standalone, so you can't for $9.99, $7.99 for Wild. So
Okay.
you can go either trilogy, kind of get everything, get a discount there of like roughly about $10, or you can just go the individual games. This is the first one. We may show the other ones down the road.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was just one that I thought, you know what? We hadn't played these.
Can you play co-op on this?
I believe yes.
Okay, you can. I thought so.
Yeah. So that should be the link to the actual individual game. Yes, I think so.
I am checking. You can play co-op.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is online co-op. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So it's got partial controller support too. I checked that out. Do we still get? Baltimore said, wanted to ask, do you guys still preload games on Windows? So, WildTangent is preloaded on Windows.
The actual games app itself.
The game's client or whatever, like the Steam client, same idea.
Mm-hmm.
But as for games, no, we no longer preload games.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sizes, requirements. There's a whole.
there's a lot of factors.
There's
around
a.
everything.
It. I would love it to be that simple. Right.
Yeah, I mean, we've
So-
had. If we go back, I mean, Plants vs Zombies, Fate.
Yeah.
Those games have
Uh-huh.
done phenomenal
Yep.
before, but yeah, I mean, in most cases, what you'll do is you'll like on an HP PC or a Acer PC, Asus, Samsung, those
Yeah.
ones, you would see it as just the clients preloaded on there. So it's like having the Steam client preloaded on an Alienware machine,
Right.
kind of thing. Very few game companies preload anymore because there's so many out there. We still have,
Yeah.
lots of partners, things like that do it. But I mean, in most cases, you're just going to have to find games as you go, through any of the distribution channels. So, I think we should probably jump over. We took a short look at Alien Breed. There's some cool stuff as you go through. There's terminal interactions. You've got puzzles that you're kind of, not puzzles, but you have different ways that you find where you've got to shut down a certain turbine, or you've got to stop an engine or something like that. So they're light puzzle mechanics. How you shut down the poisonous gas that's out there, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're still playing through. You're upgrading. You're collecting.
It's shooting. It's puzzles.
Yeah.
It's shooting. It's trying to solve some problems. It's things like that. So nice base game. You have fond memories of playing on your old Hewlett Packard. Yeah, I remember when we were on Hewlett Packard. Well, I remember Hewlett Packards.
Yeah.
Didn't work at WildTangent when they were on them.
Yep.
Critical.
Yeah, the early 2000s, like Polar Bowler and Fate and Penguins, and what was our other games? I think those were the main ones. The main three that people remember. So, for something different, we were going to talk about a game
A lot different.
called Crouching Pony Hidden Dragon.
Yep.
And I thought this one was interesting. We have this, and it's originally the game was designed for the Neo Geo. So you got to imagine this was probably, they made Neo Geo games up until like 2004. I think that was the last game that was produced.
Because we had the machine that played when we played arcade at the arcade at Landworks in Bellevue. There was an SNK machine there that had like a bunch of KOF on there.
Oh yeah, you would have like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
You would swap out the carts and things like that. Yeah, this one. So this was developed as a action RPG for SNK's console in 1990. Well, the console came out in 1990. So that's when it was developed for it. Well, sorry. It was in development. So the game has been changed, though. Came out on PC, And now it's more like a Dark Souls style
Right.
hack and slash.
Right.
It's kind of interesting how they did this. I wouldn't say it's as much Dark Souls, but it's like a unforgiving style gameplay. You know what I mean? Where you play and you're just getting beat down. It's still action, still indie. It's got local co-op, which is kind of cool. We were going to play this one. We had talked about
Then something came up that we kind of pivoted a little bit last.
And we were like,
minute,
no,
so.
let's do Moonlighter. That sounds a little bit better. But this one does have local co-op, and it also falls into that category of. It's kind of like the other game that we played on. That's from the Neo Geo collection, so it's almost kind of falling in the retro category.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly there because it's got a little bit newer feel, polish to it. Just overall feels better. But Shock Troopers is what it kind of plays like.
We talked a little bit about this off camera. Yeah.
We had a little bit of back and forth on the Shock Troopers, the way the mechanic works and all that, the way the
the one stick.
Yeah,
right.
the one stick and the shooting is a little bit weird. This game's definitely far easier to play. You know, you actually have control over the character. It's been kind of built from the ground up as a hack and slash. So I would think this one would play really well in co-op. I didn't have a chance to do it. Nobody wanted to play. And then obviously we weren't going to play it today, but I think this would be a great game in co-op for sure.
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
And it's wacky. It's got like, woman bound in leather, sadomasochistic, kind of thing going on. It's this sensei involved in the whole thing is sending you out to execute people. It's crazy.
It's a little, yeah.
So it's got some good entertainment. There's, I believe, a lot of gameplay in this, or a lot of time you could sink into it. I don't know how long the main story lasts, but I've heard it's pretty decent. It's definitely more than you would expect from a Neo Geo.
So so clarifying question. Because I didn't get that the people in Holy Potatoes were actual potatoes. Do you play as a horse, or is this a dude with a horse mask?
Oh, it's a pony.
Yeah, okay, so it is a pony. Got it.
Yeah, not a horse. You're right.
Sure.
It's a pony ninja.
Because that makes sense.
That's how it works, man. Yeah, no, it's got an entertaining kind of component to it. Of the story's a little bit out there, but in general, the gameplay is pretty solid. I'd definitely be on the couch co-op for this as well, Baltimore. I think this one, it's got...
That's how I would want to play.
Fast moving. Animations are great. I mean, it is more along the lines of like the quality of Metal Slug in terms of like what they were getting out of the Neo Geo, right? Than like Shock Trooper kind of
right.
Thing. Where they base it off of that kind of like arcade.
And it's got a little bit of that same flavor where it's like it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even know that it's not even like self-aware, because I think it kind of takes itself rather seriously.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, there are some funny components to it. I'm sure that there's some mixture of self-aware kind of style, but yeah, no, this is overall pretty solid entry into that kind of retro category that we have. That's where I'd put it. But like I said, it's definitely more along the lines of like a game that looks retro that has more recent mechanics. Yeah, exactly, Baltimore. Now it got good. Yeah, and you can go around and kick things. You're using the coin, obviously, to buy more stuff at the shop to be able to unlock new abilities, new areas, things like that.
So when you play as a second player, do they also play as a pony? Is there two ponies?
No, there's a woman that they play as. She's the one with the leather mask on and the bikini.
Not the woman with the eye patch?
She was the shop owner.
The vendor. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it took me out. I think I died right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I was throwing in some names or whatever. Just playing around with that. But I had it on like infinite continues or something like that. I'm not sure. Go back to the shop. Yeah, exactly. So that's Crouching Pony, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah,
I was going to say Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's actually a movie.
Yes.
Crouching Pony. There we go. And you always start back where you were. So.
Thanks for the correction on the horse comment too.
Yes.
So.
Pony.
It's a horse.
It's pony. Let's jump to another pony, just to drive that stake even deeper. Pony Island. So I've played this one.
I'm not familiar with this game at all.
Yes, you can be the dominatrix or the pony. Yep, you decide on it.
Okay.
So you can choose either character to start out with. And like I said, there's a pretty funny beginning to it, and there's just it's the game it kind of reminds me of, if you could take it, is Blue Estate, just not a light gun game.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes.
If you ever seen that game, we have that on our service.
Yeah, you and I've played it a couple of times now.
Blue Estate, sans the light gun, drop in a retro hack and slash. There you go. But since we talked about Crouching Pony, Hidden Dragon, we're going to talk about Pony Island now. Pony Island starts out, and this is another weird game. I liked it. I thought it was great. We've had it on the service for quite some time, but we never played it. We're trying to bring some things onto the show that are very interesting. So I would put this game in the category of
I call this a puzzle game.
It's like a puzzle game. I almost, the quirkiness of like Papers, Please.
Right.
But the gameplay of a like programming logic game is where this falls into. You're essentially playing an arcade machine that was developed by Satan, is what I take it as.
You're in the software of it?
You're playing it. You're not in the software.
Okay.
But your soul has an opportunity to get sucked into it.
Okay.
There's already a soul in there. You're trying to help that soul get out while defeating the game.
Okay.
And all sorts of crazy things happen with the game's like OS and like operating system and menu system, and you're having to fix what's going on. It's basically, the pony game itself is like a endless runner in a way, but it's like a Mario World kind of level. You run, you jump, you run, you jump, you run, you jump, and you're trying to get to the end. But that's not really the game. It's just kind of what you do to make it feel like a game. There's the kind of the programming logic component to it. And now you get a chance to play the actual game. So this is loading. So now you see like there's a little thing there you got to like click on. That you're kind of hacking it a little bit. And then you go back into the programming logic. So it's definitely a game that has its own style.
Most certainly.
I'm trying to even think of, it's got overwhelmingly positive results. So the game is spot on. There's nothing about that. I'm trying to think of like another game that really kind of replicates it. And I know what it looks like. I know what the game looks like. And it's like you're working in an office and you're a programmer. And you have to put in like logic. It's like a logic puzzle kind of thing for code development.
We're not talking about the Zachtronics stuff, right?
Yeah. Well,
that because there's almost a maybe.
Let me see here. I've got to remember 7 billion humans. Is that it? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
That's not what I had in mind, but.
Yes.
Okay.
So a game like 7 billion humans is similar to this, where you are basically pretending to code.
Okay.
But you're using actual logic to do the coding. Like, go here, if not there, go to the next one, come back around.
Right.
You're using that when you're building these, when you're hacking into Satan's video game.
Okay.
If that's how I could explain it. It's not exactly like that. That's why I meant like, yes, there's some of that logic commands to it, or simple commands, but really the game is a mixture of many things. Like here's the pony running, jumping, gets to the end, you go on to the next thing. Then you're messing around with like this storyline that's happening in it, and then you're going into the parts where you're having to hack the system. And you're using those like simple logic commands to be able to do that. And you're figuring out how the puzzle works.
It's definitely highly stylized.
Little Inferno is another one, very similar.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Little Inferno more than 7 Billion Humans, but the idea is very similar in their game mechanic. So there's a little tiny bit of that in here. This is probably more like Little Inferno. Why they call it Pony Island is the question. I don't know that. I haven't gotten that far into the game.
I have no idea.
I'm going to play through it to find out.
Okay.
I want to see what it's like. Probably record the whole thing and throw it up on YouTube. It is definitely an interesting game. So here, you've got to kind of get the right command in so you can kick it over. So here you got to kick it to the right, and then you got to have it go down to be able to make it to where it'll unlock.
Yeah, definitely different.
It is, and it gets really weird, like especially when you're...
As weird as a game called Pony Island that has nothing to do with ponies and islands initially.
And you're typing in and you're talking back to it, so
Right.
there's some typing going on too. So it's got a lot to it. I don't know how long the game is, though. I'm curious to how long I can actually play and how long it'll take to actually complete it. I'm probably thinking I can look that up. Give me one sec here. It's, I don't know if it'd be on how long to play. If you ever want to know how long it takes to beat a game, go to howlongtobeat.com. You can find out by pretty much typing in the game title, and you'll know like how much time you're going to be investing in the game. 2.5 hours, roughly.
Relatively quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not long games. This is
If you
similar
were,
to
if
some
you
of the
were
other
flipped
stuff
it
I
on
do.
and Saturday afternoon, you would probably finish
You would complete
Saturday
it.
evening,
Yeah.
right? So
You'd complete it. I don't think you really get... I got stuck in one spot and figured it out fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This was funny. So, like, here it just doesn't let you click on the item, but it's like you've got to click on the item. So every time you move near it, it goes away. So you have to figure out the logic puzzle to make it bigger, and then you can finally click. Yeah. Kind of thing like that. So, do you want to check out a little bit of Moonlighter?
yeah, I think we're gonna play a little bit of Moonlighter here.
Thanks, Baltimore, for dropping the links in chat. Appreciate it, man. So, we've got everything set up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's jump into that. Moonlighter, if you haven't checked this out, it's probably launched about a year, maybe a year and a half ago.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, something to that effect. So let's see, I'm going to jump us into... Brooks is going to run us through a new game, beginning of the game.
Unfortunately, I forgot the controller USB thing on my desk at home.
Yeah, you can play it with keyboard or mouse, or keyboard, no mouse, but keyboard or controller.
Me recently forgetting stuff is just belts, wallets, and Ubers,
Yes.
USB sticks. It's just...
You got a lot of things working. A lot of things going on. And we decided to do something unique with this game tonight. If you're interested, the game normally is $19.99.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, the price with a Wild membership is $15.99.
Yep.
So we've changed the price. You can now, if you guys wanted to buy it, if you click on it, you can get it for $7.99, and then the membership for the Wild membership is $7.99. So you get it for the same price as what we normally have it on.
Basically ends up as, the game and
Yep.
the membership.
Yep.
So,
For $15.99, $98 essentially.
yep.
But then you can use that membership to get discounts on all the other games that we
10,
have.
20, 30% on
10, 20, yeah.
upwards.
Usually
Yeah.
30 is about the highest, but then usually like 10 is the bare minimum. So something neat that we were doing. Plus there's about 2,000 games that you can get access to.
Right.
And there's varying games in there. Fate is one of them. Fate, all the Fates are in there.
Yep.
So if anybody likes Fate, you can get to play all those all month long for that $7.99. We've got even like some of the pixel junk games that I was talking about.
Recently,
We've
what
got all
else did we
sorts.
toss in there? I think like the Beholder stuff's in there. Do Not Feed the Monkeys. I think
Yep.
we just put
all
up
of
in
those
there.
are in there.
Right.
Yeah, we tried to go through and add like 5 games, 10 games. We added My Brother Rabbit.
Yeah.
Just went in there from Artifacts. That's a great story game.
The latest Artifacts stylized adventure game.
Yeah.
We'll call it.
So in this game, you're essentially a merchant. You're a young merchant with a hankering for adventuring. Yeah, you can kind of see up on the little hieroglyph. And it's an instant kill.
I was trying to swing the hammer, but it didn't.
No, you have to roll past him. Let's see if you'll get through there. There you go. So there's a little, very reminiscent of like Zelda. Mm-hmm. I kind of said, we both said Zelda, like Link to the Past.
Yes.
And essentially what you're doing is you're grabbing things for your shop that you'll be able to sell. So there's a merchant component to it, like not a tycoon style, but a merchant component to the actual game. And it's become quite popular. I believe the game is on every console.
Yes, I am almost certain.
As far as I'm aware, it's even on the Switch. It's been on, let's see, when did it launch? It launched, just a little bit, about 15 months ago. Like May of 2018. So a fairly new game. Roguelike, it's got adventure, it's an RPG, it's got all the things that I would be interested into. So we like this one, so we were thinking, give it a little bit more. I think even Humble was doing it on sale. It was probably on sale for the Steam sale just recently. So everybody's, kind of all over this game. It just picked up speed. I hadn't really remembered talking about it too much before about 3 months ago when we got it in.
I had not.
That's when I really started to see people kind of talk about it. But maybe that's just because I was looking for it. Here, we'll go full screen a little bit. So now you get the full experience of The Legend of Zelda. Man, they just keep adding them in.
I'm not sure what the objective in the room is.
It's to die, Mr. Bond. Hey, you win. That was the objective.
Got it.
You have to die to learn to then move forward.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that was our fault, Baltimore. I see your comment about the UI on the top being cut off because of our border. Here we go. It's a good looking game. Like, this right here is very reminiscent of, like, Legend of Zelda.
Oh, yeah, it looks, just the other day when we were at our desks, we were looking at Cadence of Hyrule.
It does. It Titan Souls.
That's super.
Same one.
That's super. What it? That's
Yep.
super. I mean, it looks very, very similar in style.
Cadence of Hyrule, Titan Souls, like Baltimore said.
Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah, the look, for sure. There's even a quote here. If you had read through that,
Okay.
they're like, "It's dangerous to go. Take this."
Sure.
Right, and that comes from Zelda. If you haven't seen that before, so there's a little homage paid to the success of that game previously. So here's kind of the merchant component. It's almost like a very light Sally's Salon kind of thing is what I would, where you got to go to the counter and you got to check them out. That's really what it is. You open the store, they come in, they look around, you go to the cash register and you check them out.
Okay.
And their emoji, see how she's got a smile? Well, it just disappeared. Basically, that tells you you're on the right track of the things that you're selling in the store.
Okay.
So if somebody comes in and they're not happy, which I think they say this guy isn't happy, Let's see what his emoji is.
What, everyone?
No, he's sad, or like he did the forehead smack. You know that, like, okay, well, I need to have a little bit more variety.
Of stuff that you pick up to sell in the store.
Yes. So you go down in the dungeon, you find the stuff, you bring the stuff back, and then you can sell the stuff. Is it E? Is it telling you over there in the corner? There you go. Talks about like selling reactions. You can essentially see there's 3 or so different ones. 4. Now they're basically saying, okay, get outside, go find us some more loot.
Yeah, it kind of teaches you about, here's what happens during the day, here's what happens during the night.
Yeah.
As far as enemy, I guess, difficulty is concerned.
Yep. It's almost like, funny enough, it reminds me a little bit of Fate in a way too, because you would go adventuring after you deal with everybody, or Diablo, or any of those, right? It's dungeon crawling in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
Just knifing people left and right. Nope. Head off to the dungeon. Oh, you did try Dauntless. What'd you think of it, Baltimore? Brooks and I'd probably say Brooks spent a little bit more time on the last one, but we were playing Monster Hunter World. And we've even got another coworker, Chris, that played it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did very well, and a lot of people really enjoyed that game. I played a lot of Monster Hunter. Not a lot, but more than most, I would imagine, on the 3DS.
Yeah, you knew about this, many, many years ago when you were playing it on.
Yeah.
You and Steven had both played it when it was on.
Stephen Ing's another. He's played a lot of it too, yeah. I think a lot of people found Monster Hunter just... A lot of new players just found it on Monster Hunter World.
Yeah,
It was pretty popular.
I did hear this is somewhat anecdotal because it's, kind of our circle of friends or our circle of people we game with. But
yeah.
There were a lot of people that were kind of looking for a little downtime in the games as a service business at that particular moment.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much.
And people really liked the, the crafting aspect, the going around getting stuff. So.
Yeah, it's, the nice thing is there's not a lot of, like, pay to win or any kind of payment in it. It's all
definitely
customization, all that stuff. You get to do that. There's nothing, you had to. Is the DLC, the winter one, even free, or do you have to buy that?
No, that's $50.
That's $50 to be able to play that. Okay.
Or it might be $40, and there might be a deluxe $50 one. But
probably that's
everything in the game. All of the stuff that was selling was like stickers and like cosmetic items. It had nothing to do with the gear and the pieces and that type of stuff.
Right. So Dauntless doesn't take as much to get into. A little bit lighter. I have to take a look at that. I like Monster Hunter games. They do take a lot. To really excel in the game, you got to spend some time to get all the gear. And what are they? G rank? Did they finally put that out for World?
They're calling. No, they never.
They haven't done that yet.
They didn't put it into World, and they're not even calling the new difficulty rank G rank.
They're not going with letters. Okay.
I think they're trying to be careful when explaining the difficulty because one of the things they mentioned with this is that yes, it is more challenging than what's in the game now, but they don't want people to feel like if I haven't played that I'm just going to show up and just get creamed or whatever, right?
Yeah, because that's usually what would happen.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, they're doing a smart thing on the marketing side. You should be able to hop over there, right?
Yeah, I already hopped over there. I was trying to figure out where it...
Did it just lead you straight up?
Yeah, and then I thought it was asking me to...
Like that guy's got a sack with him and he's just like splattered on the floor. There's no other doors down below? Oh, you can't even get out. Is there something you can do on that little... By that tent, there's a black box down there. Can you break that?
Because that...
It didn't have anything.
The thing in the bottom right corner keeps... Every so often it pulses, but when I hit the L button, or the I button... We're not getting anywhere right now.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, because they keep pulsing, but I don't know why.
Where did you get to? Yeah, you would think that like, is it pulsing because it's just time-based?
Because I can't even hit the map button either. So it's like M, I, and J. The only things that do anything are shield and sword right now.
Is it on caps lock?
Yeah, I just checked that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. And you can't use the mouse to click on it either?
Nope.
I don't think the mouse has any input in this. I wonder...
I can use health, so E works.
Okay. How about space? Oh, space is how you're rolling.
Space is how I'm rolling. But yeah, L,
How about
I...
K?
Yeah, K is swing. Or J is swing,
Z?
and K... Yeah, no, we don't got anything on Z.
Z just switches between your two weapons. But L is not... Oh, maybe it's something where you have to move around and once you find the spot... Like that pile of little wood there. Seemed like when you're on that side it pulses. Or maybe it's just a time-based kind of thing. Does your broom do anything?
Okay.
Yeah, can't you sweep anything up?
It's called Moonlighter, not Moonsweeper. I
Exactly.
didn't go that route with it, but...
I don't remember getting... Oh, there's another box that appeared on that tent. Oh no, you can't even get to it. It's stuck in there. And of course... Well, let's see here. I'm going to help you out. I wonder if the dungeons are... They're not random, are they?
I don't believe so.
So... I believe... Or wait, is that... Wait, what swings? What are you hitting to swing? J?
J.
What's enter do? Nothing.
L and I.
Did you talk to the skeleton up there?
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
And he's the one that locked you in.
Yes.
And did you pick up the thing from the guy that was on the ground in the bag? Press J over the bag, maybe? No. It didn't do that. I don't remember seeing it do that for you.
Okay, I'm just gonna die.
You just keep coming back.
I'm gonna kill all my health bar.
Oh, you're going to run the health out. Because I
don't
think
know
there
what
was
I don't
supposed
know
to be an item you're supposed to pick up or read, a journal kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know what to do right now.
So I am looking here. What's escape do? Can't you just like reload? Oh, jeez. Let's see what happens.
Please don't automatically use a potion.
That'll be funny. Oh, there he went. Okay. Hold on one sec. Let's see here. I believe.
Oh, now the buttons work. Great.
Okay, there we go. You know what? I think it's this keyboard. It was doing this to me before.
Okay.
It was actually... There's something weird going on with it because when I was in here editing video, I wasn't able to type anything. I think the keyboard's going bad.
Okay, well that's going to be really unfortunate.
Because it's still not...
I mean, I can open this up now. Let's see. Grab, hold, continue, close, quick, equipped.
Yeah, no, it's on our side. It's not the game. It's this keyboard that we have. For some reason, it was acting up earlier. You can... I was going to say we could grab that, or I could go try and grab a controller. Let me see if I can grab that, because I think we can use one of these.
Okay.
If we plug it in via USB. So let me go grab a USB.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, we're gonna keep putting along here until you get back.
Is it still here?
We'll see.
Let's see. Now with the control. Get through it?
No, but I figured out how to leave, so I'm gonna go back in. So
Here we go. Let's try this. Which machine is it? Try to plug it in the front. Let's see if we... Let it do its thing. There we go. Now we're back in action.
there we go.
Sorry, folks. That was a little bit on us. I don't know why this keyboard is giving us trouble, but it's going in the trash right after this. I noticed it earlier, and I was like, man, I don't know what's up with this. And then it worked fine when I came in.
That's really strange.
And then it just started acting up when you were there doing it. So, now we can give it another try, or another swing. Sorry, my mic was muted. Okay, I think... That's the one where we started at?
Yeah, so this is where we were back in, and then the map says you defeat all 4 to open the final one. And so it looks like there was either four keys.
Oh, gotcha.
And then let's see here. Yeah, now we're spinning.
Much better with the controller. I will admit, like, even though, you know, you can use PC and keyboard and mouse in most cases to play first-person shooters or, you know, shooter games in general, for some indie games, it's just, I don't know, I'd rather play with the mouse or with the controller.
Yeah, you know, I'm very much the same way. You know, even when we were dunking around on Raft, it's still kind of strange because I'm so used to playing on pad at this point.
Gotcha.
Which is funny because back in the day, boy, you wouldn't have caught me dead with anything other than a mouse and keyboard on my desk. But I guess that had so much to do with like, playing MMOs or whatever, right?
Sure.
So.
Now you're moving. Ooh, you're almost off the edge there.
We were good.
Yeah, I wanted to spend a little bit of time with this game this weekend. I had not had a chance to play it.
I had only seen this, and it fell onto my radar when they did the Switch version.
Yeah.
That's when I kind of saw it be picked up.
And if anybody new is watching and wondering why we speed through things, it's more or less to be able to show more of the gameplay, less of the story.
Right.
Because mainly, you know, in every game that you can get from WildTangent that's not a Steam game, you can try it yourself for 30 minutes. We're trying to show you what's in the 30 minutes on, like, the Steam games. When we can.
Okay.
In videos or whatever.
We will see how this goes.
Alright, remember you can roll.
Ouch.
Praise the sun. Praise the sun. You play 90% with the controller, huh, Baltimore? What games do you play with the keyboard and mouse? Out of curiosity. Oh, man, he,
Yeah, big dog. Let's go.
Nice. Look at that. Like a trooper. You got a bunch of stuff to sell, too. I'm curious to see what else you can do with the merchant side of it. Oh, you actually get to keep going. So I guess you can escape, right, with that pendant?
Yes.
To be able to go and take your ill-gotten gear and put it on your store shelves.
Yeah, my rough understanding is that I don't actually think you would try to complete all 4 of these. I think you'd bolt back to town, drop your stuff, and
because
not carry
that's where
around
the
this
Dark
giant-
Souls thing comes in almost.
Right.
Like, you don't want to carry it because if you lose it, you're out, and you get to take something back to sell if you keep it.
Right.
So the games you play with mouse and keyboard are Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3, and World of War. Those all make sense because they're all macro. You know.
Right. Yeah, sure.
That all makes sense for sure, man.
Although we have played a tremendous amount of Diablo 3 in elective mode on the pad, where you can...
Yeah, I mean, they did a pretty good job bringing it over.
Once they brought over elective mode, and you could really tool your stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time with that.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more reasonable to play on a pad then. The enemies, they tend to hit
Oh, they hit.
for some decent
Oh,
damage,
they
but
hit.
not too bad.
Yeah, they hit. Well, it's a bigger problem now because I spent all my health potions on that boss, so I'm down to nothing.
Sure.
So now
It's like risk versus reward kind
Yeah.
of
So
thing.
now the health's a little more important.
Yeah, I don't think you can use a pad or controller for the PC version of Diablo 3 either. I don't think it's... Well, I don't know. It'd be weird that they did support it on something else and then it doesn't work on PC the same way. But it's been so long since I played Diablo 3. Man, it's been quite some time. Yours, what, probably a couple of years. You and Marcel and those guys.
Yeah,
were,
we got into it for a little bit on those speedrun builds or whatever. And I'll be honest, most of the games I've played have actually been at the office recently. So
I know. Yeah. In most cases, that's where I play is when we're here trying to like record or
and then even when
test game. Oh.
and then even when we get off work and sometimes we get into chat or whatever, it turns into like a spiraled conversation or whatever, right? So
Death by misadventure. Getting greedy.
the health potions on the boss dinged me. And now I'm basically stuck playing with 1 health bar, which is not ideal. And it's between 5 and 10 a hit.
Yeah. You're a bit stale, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
Baltimore, he was
Oh,
saying
well.
on. He was saying on Diablo, I believe.
It is a really fun game. I will look forward to 4, whatever that incarnation of the game looks like.
They haven't announced anything, have they? They got Diablo
They've-
Mobile, but
No, they've only acknowledged its existence of another mainline
sure.
Diablo project, which I expect to be much more in the vein of a service title than a action RPG. But that's pure speculation.
Baltimore was saying get enough health potion or get enough stuff to sell for health potions in this game. Ooh, just hit you right over the head with that thing. Oh, and it even fell off.
Yeah, I do prefer playing this on pad. This is much
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, well, Zelda was on pad.
right.
I mean,
Exactly.
Kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
Oh, they are still hiring for Diablo 4. Gotcha.
I've heard something similar to that in the news. Yeah. And there was a fun rumor floating around that Overwatch 2 is a PvE game, not a PvP game.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's
Kind of interesting.
I have a hard time swallowing that conceptually. It just
Sure.
they would do that, but
Why not?
there is a tremendous amount of all those. They've done some of those little special events that have been more 4v enemy or whatever.
Right.
So that was one of their games that I played on launch. I think we played it
Yeah, we all played. Yeah.
when it kind of came out, but I don't play that much.
Too many Hanzos.
Dragging through the wall. I don't play that much competitive PvP though. I don't play that much PvP at all anymore, actually.
Yeah, no, that kind of goes away. Tell you, I play a lot of city builders.
Yeah, we were
I
talking
sit
about that
around.
in the office. Yeah.
I don't know why. I think those are really relaxing, enjoying. You know, I don't know what it is about them, but yeah, I think it's just age. Although I like playing like other games too that have some. I like Dark Souls. Give me any Dark Souls game. Code Vein. I'm all for that.
I think my next pickup's got to be Control, the new Remedy game.
Which sounds like it's requiring a Epic account to play.
What?
Yeah. There's a rumor floating around.
What? I mean, I have it pre-ordered on PlayStation with the exclusive PlayStation content.
Exactly. But I'm not even sure if on PlayStation I think you might have to have it on anything you play it on.
No way. No way. Really?
Let's see here if I can find that article.
I don't doubt that they took a pile of money.
I know. Yeah, apparently Overwatch 2 will have campaign mode. That'll be nice.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that more. Where was that? Let's see here. It's somewhere, but I can't find the article. I'll have to look it up. I'll post it if
Sure,
it's
sure.
actually there. It looks like adventurers were here before. Okay, now you're gonna be safe.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little selling here this time.
Let's see how this works. I'm curious. We'll take a look at that and probably call it.
I didn't even realize it was almost.
I know, it
Jeez.
just goes so fast. Man, the whole week flew by. It was like,
Oh,
it was Monday
gosh.
and then it was Thursday. And luckily we had everything done. Okay, so you got place items. And it doesn't really tell you what's... You knew that the little crystal thing sold to the last one, but then the other guy didn't like it. I guess you just kind of guess?
Hold on. No.
Oh, yeah. There's a good story. I didn't mind Overwatch. I thought Overwatch was fun. I just, like I said, kind of fell out of it.
Oh, I've played a tremendous amount of Overwatch, for sure.
I forget what game. Maybe it was Destiny we were playing. It was because Overwatch came out before Destiny 2.
Did it?
Or maybe it was Destiny 2 and Overwatch were out at the same time.
Because I remember...
No, it was because I remember playing Overwatch when the last DLC for the original Destiny came out. The one where you were on the mountain.
The snow one.
The snow one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You haven't played it that recent. Yeah. Like I said, Baltimore, that was the last time I played. What was that one? It was the dude with the big guy, in Destiny.
Oh, it was the Rise of Iron.
Rise of Iron, that's what it was. Thank you.
Barns.
Yep. Baltimore said it the exact same time. And then everybody was trying to get up the mountain.
Yeah, I remember skipping up the mountain.
Overwatch was May 24th, 2016. So 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, so you're in like a little town.
And I'm broke because of the death in that one room to start us off. So that dinged us a little bit.
Well, did you sell anything? Or I think you have to hang in your shop until you sell something.
Oh, do you?
I think you hang in here and you wait for...
I went over here.
Like, go over to where it says sell, press... Okay, it doesn't...
It's grayed out, yeah. I'm probably not doing this correctly.
Yeah, I kind of thought you have to wait there until you actually sell something.
I'm going to take this back because that's not worth anything. Okay, hold on here. Because there's a little number under it. See how this one, it says like 340?
Yeah, because you have 2 items in there and they're 170 each. So did you set a price? Or can you not... What is that thing? A golem core? Maybe you can't sell that. Try the potion thing. Just see if you can put the potion. Okay, now do you have to set a price? There you go. There it is. That's it. It is. You have to set a price on the things you want to sell.
So, nobody came in here and robbed me blind when I had all that stuff at 0? What?
These are good people.
Just like that Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly. He did all right for you.
Yeah, he did.
What is the open square on the bottom left of your inventory for? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's like a gem or something of that
open
nature?
Square, where do you see
that one down there, I think he's talking about.
Oh, that's the pendant.
Oh, the
Merchant
pendant
mirror.
itself.
Okay, hold on. Oh.
A mirror that turns items into what?
So if I grab that and drop that here.
It won't let you.
No.
What did it say? It turned items into...
Gold. Into a small amount of gold.
Oh, okay. So if you just want to clear things out and you want to make...
or whatever.
You could get a little bit. Okay, but the money you make is when you sell something. So you've got to guess what these things are for sale. So you might... Let's just see what happens here. Because I was thinking, well, maybe isn't there other sellers?
Well, see the sign above me? It says home.
Yeah, well, that's your home in the back. Go back to the house. Go back and lay down. Oh, wait, no. Go down to the door. Sorry. Because the door had 2 options. Hold to open the shop. Press A. There we go. Now we'll see what they say. Okay, here comes the guy. Rob him blind. Do any of them want any of your junk? They are all looking completely opposite of the direction of your actual stuff. Nope. Trash. Oh, they're even going to go around for a sec. Oh, somebody found something.
Okay.
Somebody found something. Okay, cool. This is kind of cool. Kind of a neat component.
Okay. This is what I should have been doing and penning from the start before I died and blew all those potions.
We got a lurker down in the corner. Yeah, just hanging around.
A little mall radish. Oh, get out of my store. Get out of my store. I can't pull this knife out.
They want the bargain items. Yeah, they're looking for the deals. Where's the Prime Day? Did you buy anything for Amazon Prime?
No, I spent plenty of money before. No,
Enough iPhone's accessory.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No, we had talked about it in advance. I kind of figured that watch was gonna go on sale.
Yeah, you found it and you got price match.
And then they price matched it, and I was like $10, whatever, and that was fine. So.
Yeah, I ended up buying a mesh router network because we are having some weird issue with our issues with the Wi-Fi out there. You didn't do anything. You didn't grab any big deals on Amazon Baltimore.
I think the best deal I saw was that PS Pro with like Spider-Man and another game like God of War for like $250. That was outrageous. That was actually.
It was actually a good deal.
That was actually a good deal
for sure. All right, so we've at least seen like the sailing and the dungeoneering.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable stopping point. My play wasn't top tier tonight, but
yeah, well, we didn't have a controller, and then there's issues with the no good.
Yeah, wherever that piece of garbage.
Yeah, no good keyboard.
This is totally something I could see once you get the hang of it.
Oh, sure.
It starts off a little. The enemies hit kind of hard. You drop your stuff, you lose it. Right? Normally in Zelda, it's like you spin around and it's like, oh, okay, now I'm back. Right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I could see this. I could see once you get the hang of it, this being really interesting to go play. You really get into like where to find the good stuff, where to get the money. I mean, this board here is like up front. I mean, I got 160 gold. This dude over here's he's like 5,000 plus gold.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Strong armor.
20,000 gold. So it looks like you can hire. Can you hire these cats?
Oh, you can send them in to go find stuff. Dude, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be about.
We don't even. I think we kind of. I don't even think we really scratched the surface on this. I think there's a little more depth here than.
I think there is.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna. Oops. What did I do wrong here?
It also really helped to get the pad. I was struggling with that.
Yeah, the pad definitely makes sense. So I'm going to throw a couple keys in for Night Call. For everybody watching, give it a try. Just put one in. So here comes the second one. 2 digits are missing. This is how we do it. You figure out those 2 digits. Wait, no. In the past, we've only done 1 digit.
In the past, we only did 1. Yeah.
Well, we're going to make it a little bit tougher. 2 digits.
700 combinations.
And then the second code will only have 1 digit missing.
Cool.
So you guys just have to figure that one out. But those are for Nightcall. You can check out the game out. It just came out yesterday. Was it yesterday or today?
Let's see. We launched Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday, right when it popped at 6 or 7.
So a little detective. Do a little bit of detective work. Because the missing digits can be letters or numbers.
For anyone that tries it, we'd be all about hearing from you on social media or in chat or whatnot. I'd be curious what you think about it.
Yeah, leave a comment on the video.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. And also, if you pick up the deal, again, I'll drop the link in one more time for what we're doing on Moonlighter. We're going to keep that up until midnight. So you can get Moonlighter for $7.99 if you're a Wild member, or become a Wild member, spend $7.99, and then you get the benefits of the Wild member, plus you get the game for $7.99. So it's like 16 total. $15.98, I guess, is what it'd be. But I'm going to put the link in for Moonlighter. Check it out. If you do, let us know. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. We've only scratched the surface of it. We were just playing along, wanting to check it out ourselves.
This is feeling a little blood-stained. I won't be surprised if this turns into a purchase. I kind of want to go...
Get a little deeper on this one.
I want to go figure out what exactly what's going on here with this, yeah.
Yeah, no, we've gotten Brooks hooked on some new PC games. Bloodstained was the last one, Ritual of the Night.
Yeah.
And then, who knows, maybe Moonlighter. I might play a little bit of this weekend, like I said, do some recording, see what it looks like.
This is... because I guess when I looked at it initially, I was like, okay, I get this style, I get the gameplay,
Yep.
I get the combat. Then you throw in the roguelite to it, where it's like you've always got that, let's be careful, but you push, you don't want to just, if you get deep enough into the dungeon, you want to keep going, but you got to pull back or else you can...
Oh, there's always the risk versus reward
Right,
component, yeah.
And then it's got this whole seller's market thing
Oh, yeah.
going on with it, so yeah.
So, yeah, speaking of another risk and reward component coming up, the Surge 2 is coming. We're going to have that on launch day.
Yeah, I saw a first play of that out online today.
September
actually.
24th. I can't wait to see that one. The original Surge was actually pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
In comparison to like everybody's like, oh, it's like trying to be like Dark Souls. Well,
We
kind of, but it's got its own like
we
mechanic.
both bought it and then they gave it away for free and we talked some people
Just
into
gave it
playing.
away. Yeah, recently,
Yeah.
right? 2 months ago on PSN.
A few months ago, yeah.
PSN or PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Members got the Surge for free, and I'm sure I'm thinking like more than likely if you're a Humble Bundle member, you'll probably get like the Surge coming up right before September 24th. It makes sense to give the games out, prior to the new one coming out. So I wouldn't doubt if you'd see it on other services of like Microsoft has it if they don't already have the Surge as a playable one in their PC demo thing, who knows? Well, we may even get it. I mean, in general sense, like it was a good game. It was very fun. I like it. So, no, this was fun. I'm glad we got a chance to check out Moonlighter. All the other games. Kona's really interesting. Like I said, if you like VR, it plays pretty well in VR. It's got its own unique take on VR components to it. And then, Pony Island and Crouching Pony, Hidden Dragon, that one's pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah, those are some interesting games. So, appreciate everybody for hanging out. Baltimore, thank you for coming in, helping mod, and hang out with us, man. For anybody, what's this? Oh, starting tomorrow is the European Speedrunners Assembly. No kidding. So it's basically games done quick, but for EU. Well, that's cool.
I want to say I saw you talking about this on your Twitter, I'm pretty sure. But
on Baltimore's, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, games done quick is always pretty good. So what is this one called? A European Speedrunners Assembly. The ESA. That's funny.
I did check a few of the things out from the Games Done Quick here, was it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
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 So
was it that?
It was pretty recent. I know.
Yeah, it was pretty recent, but
yeah.
So they do a lot of good things over there. It's always fun to watch. All right. Well, folks, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here next Thursday. Don't forget to like and dislike the actual video. We love the feedback. Helps us make the show better.
Yeah, or definitely, if you don't want to like or dislike, comment. We're always curious what
yeah,
people are
even comment.
Or what you want to see, what you want to see us play, what you want to see us go after. So, for sure.
Definitely. Do that. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you next week. And have a great weekend.
Take it easy.
See ya.